next, we're going to move on to Austin Haines. So let me tell you a little bit about Austin. Austin, he quit his Fortune 500 corporate job to answer the call of his soul. He's an author, mentor, and midlife poet. Austin promotes mindfulness and personal growth through poetry and inspirational storytelling. His topic this morning is Pathways into Presence. Discover deeper meaning. So without further ado, let's bring to the stage Austin Haines.
Thank you so much, Diane. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this platform, what you and Olga have put together, and to be able to share with Miriam and Dr. Karen. And the way this synergizes is so beautiful, as I'm sensing here right now, the way this came together. Thank you for Sandra for doing the back end stuff too, because it's making sure that the train stays on the track here and that everybody gets served. It's always an honor to serve in this way. And every time I come to any event and I speak, I think about the day, and you might think about your day and how you woke up today. You might think about your week, but I think about the journey, the series of decisions that you've made that got you here today. And I always think about that because how often do we not think about that? Like we're here today, we're on the call. We might be thinking about what we have to do after. We might be thinking about yesterday, but there's a series of decisions that led through connection points of people and moments in your life, decisions that you made that got you here today. And that's valuable. What I want to do to open this up is take a moment to pause and breathe in through your nose, just a pause in through the nose, belly expands, lungs fill, soft exhale. And I think, sense that you could feel that, right? And how long did that take? I didn't have a clock running, but seconds, right? Seconds. Within seconds, you can feel a calming energy, even though we're not physically together. You can feel the presence of the folks here, and you can feel the calm within seconds. And that's the powerful thing. So I want to ask you, I'm going to throw a question out. You don't have to answer this question right now, but what's more important, now or the future? The goal that you have. What's more important, right now or the future vision or goal that you have? You don't have to answer that. I want to share with you a little bit about my story, and then we're going to get into a little meditation. And that's why I love Dr. Karen's message, because listening deeper to see what arises today, like now, today, as we unfold this, we unravel this together. We're co-creating. Even though I'm speaking, you're as much as much a part of this as I am right now. I spent 21 years of my life on a quota. I went from thinking my life was over at one point to having, quote unquote, a level of worldly success. 21 years on a quota. Now, how does that translate? I spent a large part of my life before that and leading into the 21 years, always getting to the future. I call it the strive and drive, chase and race continuum. So where was I? I might have been here momentarily in fragments, but getting there. And then everything here and now became a means to an end to get there. I got to get there at all costs. And that's where what Dr. Karen talked about earlier is survival mode. You're surviving here to get there. And the world does this. This is the dis-ease of the world. We've devalued what's now and we've made there more important. So I just made a note here real time. It's there, then, and when has greater significance in your life than the here and now. And the here and now is the feel and now. Here now, feel now, and then heal now. And we don't have to get there. We can grow there, right? Think about a tree growing from the roots. It's not, if it's 5 feet, it's at 5 feet. It's not 10 feet. It's 5 feet, grows, and then low 5 years later, whatever the timeline is, it's 10 feet. So can you begin to usher in more depth, more meaning? Step away from the worldly energy. And I'll give you a real life example here. By the way, is it safe to say that we never, like, this isn't a constant unfolding? So that means that you're going to be angry at some point. You're going to be in survival mode at some point. You're going to be affected by worldly energy. We're going to be affected by it. We live in the world, but we don't need to be of the world, correct? And the key here is awareness. I was driving. I quit my job 6 years ago, walked away from corporate America. It'll be 6 years in July. I'm driving on the highway. I'm not going to an appointment. I don't have a set time. And I noticed I'm like, I'm feeling this rush to get there. And this is what I said to myself. I'm going to keep it PG, but I said to myself, slow the F down. Where am I going? Why am I rushing? I don't have like, and that's when it was like, okay, we can live with more pace and more presence right now. And you may be thinking about this yourself. You may be like, that resonates with me because I sometimes feel like I'm rushing to get to the next moment. I'm driving too fast. I'm getting ahead of myself. And I'm going to share some things with you later that'll put this into perspective. What we want to create today is more depth and purpose now, living from a deeper place. What came from this, I had created a show called Power of Pure Presence, and the fruit of that show, it was about living in the moment, and the fruit of that show was pause and breathe. And I opened up with the pause and breathe. Forget everything I say. Remember, pause and breathe. Because no matter what's going on, no matter how pressure rich your situation is, that deadline at work, those obligations, all those things, you can take a moment to pause and breathe. So I call it a micro dose of self-care because lives get busy, we get moving, we get grooving. But when we take a moment to pause and breathe, it's a subtle way to take your power back, to get in your body, as Dr. Karen was talking about earlier, so that you can get out of the head. I used to live in my head all the time. I got the, serious look on my face and intensity. People thought I was intense, maybe unapproachable at times, and being able to pause and breathe is the way to, and we just did it, right? We did it. How long did it take? A couple seconds, like a few seconds, right? And then we just remind ourselves to do that. So what I want to do right now, we're going to go a little deeper into the pause and breathe here. And we're just going to listen. Are you ready? You want to do it? Okay. So we're going to close our eyes. Take a moment, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm going to guide you a little bit, but I'm going to read something to you, and then we're going to trust what shows up. So settle into the moment. You can, if you'd like to put your palms down on top of your thighs, let your feet press into the ground. Just kind of soften your body a little bit and settle in and begin to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, maybe soften your face, soften your shoulders, and maybe find that deepest breath of today. Big inhale through the nose. Maybe you pause at the top. Slow exhale through the mouth. And you're settling into this moment. And this is a pure gift. It's a pure gift. It's rarely received, but given all the time. A gift so sublime, it echoes the divine. Once accepted, you truly feel instantly connected to what's real. Layers from your past slowly fade away. Future dissolves. What remains is this day. Your soul sparks from deep inside. Universal energies rise and collide, revealing your true essence. The gift you received is pure presence. Trust, allow, feel, and sense. We can get hardened by the fiery trials of life. Perhaps pure presence softens us and makes us pliable once again, like clay. Let this moment soften you, and let these poetic words serve as a potter. Allow each moment of presence to reveal your essence. Continue to notice your breath as you allow this moment. Water, air, breath, life. You are enough. We are enough. I want you to feel into your body. Notice any areas and breathe into them a little deeper. As you're sensing this moment, maybe there's a message for you from your soul, from your being, from your depth. Maybe there's a message, but maybe there is no message. Maybe it's just this moment. Listen deeper, sense deeper, feel deeper. And just trust that your journey through all its twists and turns, every moment, every high, every low, has brought you here today deliver exactly what you need in divine timing. And all you need to do is be true to yourself and open up to life, because everything you need is in you now. So if you received a message, just let it marinate. Don't avoid judging. Just stay with that. What does that mean? And if you didn't get a message, that's okay too. What I want you to do is let's breathe in through our nose here nice and deep, receiving and letting go. And when you're ready, in your own time, in this beautiful moment, you can open your eyes slowly or you can keep them closed. It's up to you. Wow, I'm really grateful. I can feel the power in this right now, and I'm just grateful for all of you taking the moment to do that for yourselves. And I just want to give you the opportunity that if you sense something for yourself, you can just type in the comments that you felt you sensed something. You're free to share what it is if you want, but you don't have to. It's up to you. So Diane, you have your hand raised, so we'll do that. Let's go. Yeah.
Austin, that was beautiful. I really didn't want to come back, but yes, did I sense something? I was transported. Last November I went to this wonderful retreat center, and I was the first. Well, my group was the first one, and I think I think I don't know if Randy's here, but she was with us, and they had just completed this labyrinth, which is it's like a maze that you go in, you walk through, and I was the first one to take our group through to the center. And I was transported there, but before I was transported there, the words came to me, which is really my word for the year, which is trust. But
Mm,
along with trust came surrender. It
mm,
says trust and surrender. And I was transported back to that labyrinth. And it's such peace when we really let go and get in the present, in the present moment. So this it just brings us this peace that I think is quite healing, because I feel like whatever it is, it just whatever I felt secure, and I'm really appreciative of that. And thank you so much for
thank
sharing
you.
that. I
So
mean, you and Dr. Karen, you are doing your thing today. This is
it's
beautiful.
beautiful, beautiful
Thanks.
synergy. And trust. I really like that's really fantastic. Surrender, you said. Surrender. That was it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Miriam.
This is mind blowing. While I stood up throughout the entire thing from morning, and when you started, I said, let me get a stool and sit.
Mm,
And while you were going through the process, all I could think of, this is a wonderful sandwich. You have the nice soft bread on the outside. The first was Dr. Karen, then on the other side is you, Austin, and in the middle is a lot of the meat is a little harder
mhm,
to go down. So
mhm,
the nice soft stuff, then the hard stuff, and then the other nice stuff, and it just so resonates entirely. So while dealing with the rigors of life, get back to self, get back to nurturing self, and you will have your body to live with you for longer, healthier, longer life. This is so much. This is needed on a daily basis. And as Diane, we're a part of this wonderful community, and I thank Diane for connecting us together so we can share what God has given to us. This is so powerful.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. Yeah. Paul.
Yes, Miriam, you are so right. This is not only needed, well, this is needed. That is what I do several times a day. And Austin, thanks for not only sharing with us, but for reminding us what most of us are really not aware of. Oprah Winfrey said she lives in the moment. The Chinese proverb says the long journey is the first step. Pausing and breathing. You see, the problem with us people is that most of us are really ignorant, and people don't get mad at me. I say that with love. We're ignorant. We are not aware that we're breathing all the time. We're breathing, but we are not aware of the power of breath work, the power of mindfulness. I work very hard. Well, I enjoy what I'm doing, but many times I do deep breathing during the day. And the one time when I really enjoy this is when I go to sleep.
Mm.
I just sit down and I start breathing, inhaling and exhaling slowly, slowly. And then as I do it, I start exhaling longer and longer and longer. For example, I inhale 4, I hold it 4, I do the box breathing, I hold it 4, and then I exhale for 6, and then I exhale for 8, and then I go for 10, I go for 12, I go for 16, I go for 20, now I go for 24, and I almost get to 30. I learned from Jaji Zhang courses to exhale and take everything out. So exhale every air that is in every cell so that I bring in fresh oxygen.
Yes.
And you do not understand what I'm saying unless you do it. It is so relaxing. It is unbelievable. So most of us breathe. We know it, we do it, but we're not aware of it. The same thing with the mind, as I preach all the time. We all think, but we think by using our habits automatically. We don't think intentionally, as Diane says. It's unbelievable how really ignorant we are, and all what we need is to be aware. And thank you for making us aware of what breathing
Thank
is.
you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I just want to point out that a couple of things. One, if you're not somebody who's into the systematic breathing, and many of you are, but that's the power of pause and breathe, and we showed that it's in seconds. And the other thing I want to say is living in the moment is not so much about living in the moment. Living in the moment, and I want to give you all a pass because some people go, oh, I don't know how to live in the moment. I don't. Here's the key. The moment you feel or recognize a frustration that you're not in the moment, that's it. You see, it's not, I'm doing it wrong. I slip out of the moment all the time. So it's the moment I go, oh, I'm in the future. You pause and breathe. You literally can bring yourself back. So it's not like you're ever going to arrive to live in the moment. Okay. It's a dance, but you're going to get better at the dance, and you're going to have more grace with yourself when you're out of the moment. And that's the key. So I really want to point that out. So Mother Miranda. Hi.
Thank you so much for bringing me up. First of all, I really want to thank Diane. I know Karen and I know Miriam, but it's the first time meeting you. So thank you, Diane, for just plugging these people out of where they are to present them to us. It is so grateful. I'm so grateful. Uh, Austin, you said you left 21 years and you walked away and you've found yourself, you've found newness. I so appreciate that. I have been on a journey myself, and at this moment, thanks to Forbes Riley, I am the queen of graceful and purposeful aging. I'm working with seniors 65 and over, and I am seeking to help them to celebrate themselves between 60 and 90 because of the gift that they have, of gift of years, of this 30 years of being healthy and with accumulated knowledge that they have to share. And I must tell you that I will indeed factor into the work that I'm doing, the the breathing exercise and the focus that you brought to it, because we have been exposed. Surely I have been over these many years to different kinds of visualization and breath work and so on. But to incorporate that as well into my aging work with these seniors, I find that very valuable. So thanks for that. I lastly want to talk about how you said we don't have to get there, we grow there. And I ended up drawing my three little trees, one little one growing up and growing up. And that's the image I have used to remember that we grow there. And so it takes time for us to move from 1 foot to 2 feet to 3 feet and so on. We grow there. And that's very timely comment. So thank you so much. I hope you'll be able to come to Jamaica with me in August, where I'll be having a conference,
Oh,
so we can talk about that.
thank you so much. Where are you located at this moment?
Currently, I'm in British Columbia, Canada.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, please.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And I love the demographic you're focusing on. And I have a client that's going to be launching a thing called the Wisdom Well. So maybe there's a connection there. We can connect.
Okay, and so my program is Whispers of Wisdom.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, so we can connect. Thank you so much.
Dr. Karen,
Hi.
hello.
Hi, honey.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. The thing that's, thank you for being here. Thank you for all that grace you're pouring out. The thing that hits me the most, which this is actually this is my mission, my bigger purpose is to soften humanity, really.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So I think it's hard for men. You're an exception, Austin.
Yeah.
And I think that women have to kind of, I don't like to say lead the way because that sounds like leading a horse to water. I don't mean that. I think we can um, set an example of softening. I think it would help the whole planet and it'll
Yeah.
definitely help men. My whole thing is for women to show the way for men to lay down their arms. That's my bigger purpose.
I totally what you're saying. I believe in the power of, you can call it divine feminine or feminine, to create that opening for men, because there is a counterbalance. Feminine wants masculine to do something, masculine wants feminine, but I think feminine is the key, because there's just so much power there. So appreciate you saying that.
I think women set the tone in relationships
Yes,
in general. So then
yes,
it's our honor and our duty, if you will, to be able to do that. But the only way we can do it is we need to access our softness a little bit more, and then it can
yes.
open the door.
Yes, and I'll share this kind of off the prompt, but I had a partner who found me. We're collaborating right now, but she saw one of my live videos and she got a download. I call them divine downloads. She said, I had this vision of you and I healing the divine and masculine and feminine. I wasn't even talking about that topic. So now you're bringing it up again. So it's really powerful, it's timely, it's needed, and that's why, these platforms, Ascend Your Path, is so valuable. So Dr. Cat, it was such synergy, what you were doing. I was just thinking, oh my God, it was just such, great synergy. And I love how, you're focusing on, the pelvis area. because, as you know in your work, there's just so much stored there. And to be able just to even go through that exercise is just a powerful relief. So I just, want everybody to be encouraged by that, what you provided here today.
Thank you so much, Austin.
Yeah. So I love these events because I always say, and this is a great message for your speaker. It's like I have a plan, but I literally just trust. And I wasn't expecting to go through all these questions and feedback, but that's the key of like being open to the moment where things are happening in the moment. I go, so hold on, I got to finish. But it's about the moment, right? And you all feel that. I trust you feel that now. So, how are we doing on time, Diane?
A time, let me tell you, we have about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So I got a good amount of time.
Can I say one more thing, Austin?
Sure.
I used to work with I'm a chiropractor. I
Okay.
used to work with the guy who taught me a lot. His name's Dr. John Brimhall. But the thing was, I was the feminine and he was the masculine. And when we worked together, and if one of us was on the head and one was on the feet of the patient or whatever, just the energy flowing between the two, the
Yes.
polarity was amazing. I mean, I think that broke a lot of the blockages down effortlessly.
Yes.
So if you're interested in wanting to do something on Saturday, if you're free and you have time and you want to do something where we can do a male female experience together for part of the time next Saturday, reach out to me.
Okay. Yeah, let's connect. I'm going to share my link tree before I'm done, so we can definitely connect.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone
thank you.
who's here also for creating the space for this to happen. Thank you.
Since we got a good amount of time here, I wanted to share, to piggyback off of Mother Miranda. I did write a book called Flashpoint. I'm not sure if you can see it. Anyway, it's Flashpoint. And the reason why I wanted to bring up the book is I wasn't going to bring up the book today, but there's a great depiction in here about the Queen of the Andes. It's this beautiful plant. It's a giant flowering plant, and I write about it in the book. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it says the Tao Te Ching says, "Great talent ripens late. Great talent ripens late." And the Queen of the Andes lives to be about 80 years old, and it just sits there, right? You don't see anything. But then what happens is somewhere around 80 years, all of a sudden it starts to flower. Like thousands of flowers come out in 3 months. It's this beautiful metaphor of nature, and it just grows 30 feet tall and flowers like, I want to say it's like 3,000 flowers in 3 months, and then it dies after that. That's the part of it. But the metaphor is that great talent ripens late, and I think it's the paradox that we focus on the earlier part and we think, we kind of forget, right? But now that's why what Mother Miranda's work is doing. So I wanted to share that. And then I had a couple poems that I think are going to be relevant. And by the way, if you got a message today, I definitely want you to type in that you heard something from your soul, and maybe before we wrap up we can do that. But that was the point there, to see what you sensed. And again, it might be something, it might be nothing. There's no right or wrong way. It's your experience. Sometimes there's no words, right? Sometimes the words aren't there, but you feel it. So you want to anchor in whatever you're sensing. The poem I wanted to share, there's a bunch of them, Diane, but the one I wanted to share, which is in line, it's called Fast and Slow. Fast and Slow. So let me see if I can pull this up for you. I do this. This is what I do at the live events that Diane attended, but it's a great little poem that really says a lot. Okay. You can hear that music. I moved fast get to where I needed to go. I hustled day and night, and everyone got to know. I was on the move to finally make things right. But was all the struggle really worth the fight? Now it's time to intensify my speed. I double down to get what I need. But as I get closer, the prize moves further away. My plan is foiled. Where did I go astray? As the pain sets in, this sudden moment is real. Fast is not fast, for I made the wrong deal. Slow and thorough was the right way to go. Even the Navy SEALs live by this motto. I finally discovered the truth at last. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. So think about that for yourself. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. And that poem, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, that's actually the mantra of the Navy SEALs. It's in their mantra, it's in their code. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So you may want to take that with you today. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And the other poem that is really relevant today, and then we'll move into a close here. And Diane, I sent you a message. I could play a song for you if you want. I just, or we can just do, I have another exercise that we can do. But the poem that I wanted to share is called Sinews of Community. And I just shared this last night. And so think about this. We all went through COVID. Oh, somebody asking about the book. I'm going to put my link tree in here before we're done, and you'll have an opportunity to stay connected. Sinews is, if you're in the medical, sinews is the connected tissue, right? That it connects things together. So this poem is actually in, there was only two poems in my book, Flashpoint, Sinews of Community and The Jump. Me being a poet was so far out of the realm. And that's why when I did that exercise with you to listen deeper, my intention is to awaken seeds of infinitude. I was never a poet. I'm now a poet. I wasn't thinking about being a poet. Not even on the radar. I'm in self-help. I do motivational, inspirational speaking. Not a poet. I came from corporate America. I'm a poet now. I got poems that are published. I got a poem book coming out. I never played a stringed instrument. I picked one up 6 weeks ago. I wrote a song. Now I'm a singer-songwriter. What? So the message here, that stillness and listening deep awakens what I call seeds of infinitude. Seeds of Infinitude. That's going to be my next poetic book. And Seeds of Infinitude are seeds inside of you that are dormant right now. You might know about them, you might not. But as you move more and live through the present moment, live through your body, like Dr. Karen was talking about, ascend your path, put yourself in the right groups of people, rooms like this, you're going to awaken these seeds. You are going to be so surprised at what awakens in you, way beyond what you even thought. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I never saw that coming. That's what we're after. I'm not after, I mean, what your vision is, you need to have a vision, but it's the plot twists. So this poem is in that book, but let me read this. And think about Ascend Your Path and the community that Diane and Olga are building. By the way, if I'm a little shivery because it's a little chilly, so if I feel like, and plus I get excited, so I'm excited to be here. The sinews of community cannot be fully measured, but when life gets intense, it can keep me tethered to the tenets I knew to be true long before the storm came through. I get stronger to face any provocation. I overcome my greatest fear, even stagnation. I can rise again even if I've been oppressed for years. Community gives me wings to fly over my fears. Community allows me space to release tears that heal. I am reconnected and empowered to truly feel. I release emotions that seem stuck for an era, emotions that used to make me shake in terror. No longer will I retreat into a hopeless isolation, for that urge is transmuted into my spark of liberation. I do not feel it immediately, but one bold step to ascend your path, one bold step, and my I becomes our we. Through my community, I am empowered and set free, for I need my community, and my community needs me. For I need my community, and my community needs me. So think about that. And I am pretty much coming in for the conclusion here. And if Diane wants to jump in and anything you want me to share, Q&A, I want to make sure we honor everybody's time here.
Austin, thank you so much. I see if I didn't see any questions in the chat, but there's still someone wants to know how to get your book.
Okay.
You said you're gonna put the link tree in there. She says that Maxine is saying I love your share. So there's a lot of love in the chat. And I see Mother Miranda, I don't know if your hand was still up from before, but do you have a question?
Thank you for acknowledging me again. I wanted to highlight what you said, Austin, about devaluing the now. Devaluing the now. And you talked about us getting caught up with it, the there and the then and the when, as against acknowledging and honoring the now and the healing, the here and now and the healing. And if you could just say a little bit more about the importance of that. Thanks.
The ability or the I'll just talk about my own experience, putting more emphasis on the utopian future. If we talk collectively, the world operates this way. It's how the society moves. It's how marketing moves. It's how everything moves. And it's not necessarily right or wrong, but when we're overly focused, creating this utopian future, we as individuals and as society can feel flawed because you're constantly getting bombarded with messages. Now sucks. The world sucks. Your health. It's everything. It's not an excuse to not do anything, right? But you end up creating this state of like fight or flight, survival mode. If I took you to a room and it was really stressful and there was people that were angry in that room and there was emotional outbursts, would you want to stay in the room? Would you want to stay in that room? Or would you like, Austin, we got to get out of here. I'm upset. I'm stressed. I'm watching these people, right? Have you ever been in a room where there's a lot of stress, right? So you would leave that room, right? But here's the challenge. When you're in the world, your body's responding, right? So now you're in a state of fight or flight. So you are that room, but you don't know anything else other than that room. And then when you come here and ascend your path, Dr. Karen walks you through an exercise. I walked you through an exercise. You're stepping out of that room. You're now in a different, oh my God, like we saw that, we felt it. And we felt it. We all felt it. We were like, oh my gosh, we're like feeling this because we left that room. And all we did was we got out of that dis-ease of I got to get there to, oh my, like I didn't have to say anything. You felt it. And you felt the here and the now. And that's a micro with yourself. And as the individual work on this, you affect the macro. You're not isolated alone by yourself. You're a part of a massive network, and everything you do affects the collective. So each one of you that leave here today, there's a residual effect, whether you know it or not. The next person you talk to, your energetic flow, everything that flows from you today is actually impacting the world. So you're changing the world right now. Isn't that amazing? You're like, oh my God, really? Me? Yes, you. So anyway, I could talk more about it, but I'll put a finality there so we can move forward. Thank you for that, bringing that up again. Diane, you're on mute, but I'll turn it over to you to let you,
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Thank you. Does that answer you, Mother Miranda? Then we can move to Paul before we get like 4 minutes left. Paul?
Yeah, I'll be very brief. Austin, you mentioned something very powerful. When I mentioned that Oprah Winfrey lives in the moment, and you commented about in the moment, that if you can recognize you are in the moment. And that reminded me of another person that I have been listening to, Alex Howard, who is a mental health professional, and his expertise is stress, anxiety, and depression. And he keeps saying something that I did not understand, but now I understand it. If you can see it, you don't need to be in it. If you can see it, you see, most of us that has something like trauma, anxiety, and so forth, we become to normalize things, we get used to it, and now we are living in it, but we don't know what's going on. So he says, if you can see it, you don't have to be in it. You can get out. It's exactly when you mentioned the moment, that reminded me of what Alex said. If you can recognize your situation in that moment, you don't need to be in it. You can get out.
That's it. That's the opening. Thank you for saying that. That's the opening. Yes. So what we typically do is we recognize something, and it's a stimulus response, right? Your stimulus is you're recognizing, like, I'm not in the moment. Your response is, what we typically do is, oh, I'm getting it wrong. You see that? But that's the opening to go, oh my gosh, I see it now. I don't need to be in it now. I'm liberated now. You see that little shift right there? You just put yourself in like the top, whatever, 1% of the world when you make that a practice. Because you're not going to be a victim to your old responses. Because, I had low self-esteem issue. So, it was always a flaw. I'm wrong. Something's off. And now it's like the cultivating the practice of the opposite. So thank you, Paul, for bringing that up. Diane?
This is really awesome. Thank you. Let me check in the chat. If anyone have any more questions, you could raise the reactive hand, or you could put it in the chat. And one of the things that I thought of when Paul said it about the exhaling, I had read somewhere that, or I heard someone say, it's more important to exhale than inhale, than to inhale. And it makes so much sense, because when we exhale, we getting rid of all the negative stuff that we don't need, and making room for the good stuff.
Yes.
So that's really quite interesting. So thank you for that reminder. And
So one other thing, Diane, I just wanted to make sure, because I know we're up against the clock. I just want to invite you. It's an invitation. I put my link tree in there. If you got value from that, just do something. Just do whatever. Follow the YouTube if you want to stay connected. There's a newsletter I'm building. You can get the book if you want. I have an audio book. It's audio and also on the platform. So just do something, like, avoid waiting till later, right? Do it now, and then it's done, and then we're connected. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
So any questions? So I guess it's okay to just no questions, Austin. So if you want to have one last thought, and then we'll close out.
My last thought is to connect with yourself. And I'm going to piggyback on what Dr. Karen said, because I say the same thing. I always say it. Check in with you. That awareness is everything. Avoid there's something wrong, I'm off. Whatever's coming up, I always say trust what shows up. So when you come off an event like this, if you have a down moment tomorrow, trust what shows up. It's possible, right? You can have a down moment. I always say polarity is always at play. The moment you go to do something good, that negative neighbor calls you up, right? So you welcome in the polarity. And I always, my message is we think negative and positive, but negative and positive are always at play. You need negative and positive for progress. If you just have positive all the time, it becomes neutral. So you need both of those things to be at play in order for you to progress. And life gets a whole lot better. You still have all the challenges, but you've evolved. You're an open, strong individual because you've embraced your vulnerability. So I'll just leave you with that. Trust what shows up. Pause and breathe. I'm so grateful that everybody was here today. And thank you, Diane, again, Olga, and everybody that shared today.
Thank you so much. Dr.